Today we're gonna take a little journey with the drone and a little bit of photography. We had a beautiful day, so my wife and I went for a drive. Put 300 miles on the Jeep, all said and done, but it was well worth it. It was good to get out. We're looking now at White River Falls, up near Ty Valley, Oregon, up off of 197. It's got quite a bit of history. Years ago, this power plant down here, you see the old building you see there? It's actually an old stone building and cement. Was part of the power plant that supplied electricity for the city of the Dalles. This is the White River. It flows on down and runs in a few miles downstream. It flows into the Deschutes River, which everybody knows is a world famous, world class fishing river, especially for fly fishing and for steelhead and salmon. The old building, there's interesting to go down and walk through it. A lot of old machinery still down there, the old generators, dynamos. You can see some of the old piping that they used. You can see the birds flashing by there too. They really don't like the drone. There, gets them stirred up. A lot of history here. It's kind of a good hike down there, so I kind of did the easy way today and just flew the drone down. That way I wasn't huffing and puffing coming back up the hill. Good rattlesnake country too, so watch your step when you go down there. You can see the river flowing on downstream, headed towards the Deschutes. You can see the kind of country it is. Pretty arid, a little bit of water in the middle there just to give it some greenery. It won't be but another month and you won't hardly see any green on the hills. Okay, now we're at Sherars Bridge, just below Sherars Falls. You can see the white water up above. That's Sherars Falls. Another place with lots of history. This was my dad's favorite place in his later years. We actually scattered his ashes on the rocks on the right hand side. The right hand side is for the white man, and the left hand side is part of the Indian reservation and reserved strictly for Native Americans to do their fishing. You'll see some fishing platforms. The Indians can dip net along the river. We watched one gentleman today pull out a good sized, I don't know if it was salmon or steelhead. He was pretty proud of it. He posed from across the river for a picture. I'll have to find that picture and put it in here. Beautiful river, the Deschutes. Comes down, Bend, Oregon, comes out of the high lakes up above Bend and flows into the Columbia River. There's railroad tracks run alongside of it. And you can see the highway there. You can actually, if you look at the shadows on the right, you'll see my Jeep. That's where I was flying from. And just past that little trestle there, notch, that is where the White River comes into the Deschutes. Okay, I promised you a couple shots. You can see the dip net platform. They've all got new lumber there. They're looking pretty good. And here's the young man with his fish. He was pretty proud of that guy. We watched him pull it out, and now we've shifted gears. Now we're down in the city park on the Deschutes River in the city of Maupin, Oregon. See the old grain elevator over on the left next to the tracks. See the city park. Good RV park down there. We're thinking about taking the RV and going down for a few days just to relax. But my boss says I don't relax. I'll be wanting to run around the country and chasing all over. She knows me too well. The highway, you see the car coming down across the bridge. That highway, if you follow it, goes up to Bend, Oregon. Goes up through Madras and up that way. Several high-dollar homes over here on the right with a good view of the river. I'm not sure I'd want to stay there year-round, though, because it gets hot in the summer And oh, it gets so cold in the winter. A lot of whitewater rafting upstream from here. We've actually taken the tour, took my nephews and my sons. We did the trip, had a good time. I think there's some class 4 rapids, if I recall right, up above. I don't know how many bus companies, or I mean rafting companies, operate out of Maupin during the summer. She's beautiful, beautiful country. There's another look at some of those homes on the left. Kind of built on stilts out the front because pretty steep ground. There's a motel over here on the right. Most of the town is on the left in 2 different levels. You can see the park. You can see where, the water makes it green, but without water, there's not much green. Once again, you see that grain elevator. And the railroad tracks. The railroad's pretty critical to moving the grain, getting it downstream, and then they'll load it on barges and take it on down, put it on ships down here, load it out on the Columbia. Big ports, up and down the Columbia for grain export. We feed a lot of the world from here. You're not seeing the grain fields right now, but just up the hill they are. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good one. Good night.